Today we're gonna discuss about what professions you actually require to buy properties anywhere in Australia and how you can secure properties interstate. Before we start this video, please have a look on this disclaimer. Hi, my name is Dinesh Goyal and I'm here from Property for Financial Freedom. We provide one-on-one mentorship to buy properties in the growth area where data stacks. We also operate as a buyer's agent to buy those great properties. Very first profession I want to talk about today is the mortgage broker. I really prefer going to the mortgage broker rather than going directly to the bank. Generally, mortgage broker have access of more than 20-30 lenders and they can personally look into your circumstances and then suggest you the best lender based on your situation. Yeah, so for example, you are building a portfolio of $2-3 million. They can generally look into, okay, which lender can lend you the most of the money rather than running after the interest rate, right? And there can be strategy like, okay, let's go to the tier 1 banks first, for example going to the ANZ or a CBA, and then going to the tier 2 banks, and in the end they can, for your third or fourth or fifth property, you can go to the non-banking lenders such as First Mac, Paper Money, Bluestone. Yeah, so mortgage broker is very important. Next one I want to talk about is the accountants. Yeah, so accountant is someone, there's a different ways of buying a property, different entity structures. You can buy property, you can buy under your name, you can buy under you and your wife's name. You can buy properties under a company structure or a trust structure. There are multiple ways of buying a property, or even SMSF. Yeah, so a good accountant can look into your personal situation and can suggest you about the pros and cons of each entity and what should be the best suitable for you, right? For example, buying in a trust structure can have a lot of benefits, but it comes with a high cost as well. Yeah. So next one I want to talk about is property managers on the ground. How we are buying properties interstate is because we generally use the best property managers on the ground, which are very competitive in the price as well, and which are very active in the hot market. Property gets sold within a 2 or 3 days, right? So what we do is, whenever there is a off market or on market opportunity which ticks all our boxes based on our checklist, based on our suburb selection, we generally send our property manager within a day or two to inspect the property, right? And then we straight away take action based on the report we get from the property manager and rental appraisal. We do our cash flow analysis and find out, okay, what it is going to harm to your pocket, and then we take a decision and we send the property manager straight to the property, and we get the report, we put the offer straight away, right? And here you need another profession basically, which is the conveyancers, right? Conveyancers are state-based licensed, so they look into your sales contract and see if everything is as per the state guidelines, right? We generally use multiple clauses in the contract, for example building and pest inspection clause, a finance clause, right? Then for example we get our building and pest inspection done, we put a dollar value on all the defects there, right? We put and then we try to negotiate with the sales agent or the vendor, right? And we try to get some discount, or we force them to fix all the issues based on the state guidelines. Yeah, so conveyancer plays very important role, and that's the profession which is required to transact your property under your name from the seller's name, right? Another option you have here is solicitors, but they are sometimes very high cost, and conveyancers are comparing to solicitors, they are cheap, right? So most of the people go to conveyancers for their transaction of the property, right? Next one I want to talk about is building and pest inspector. As I told you that we use building and pest inspection clause and a finance clause. We try to find a pest inspector in the hot markets where we are actively buying. We already have a good inspectors under our systems. We just send them and get the property inspected, right? We want very proactive and good building and pest inspector who can the report is easy to read, and then he can also help us to discuss all these defects. Yeah. Next one I want to talk about is the buyer agent. I'm a buyer agent. We generally look around 15,000 suburbs. There are more than 15,000 suburbs in Australia. We look all over Australia and then find out the best suburbs based on your personal circumstances, right? For example, there are good suburbs in kind of each state. For example, I have a property in Melbourne, I have a property in Queensland, I have a property in WA, right? I have Victoria, Queensland, WA. Maybe next property I would prefer buying in South Australia or different state, just to diversify my portfolio, right? So a good buyer agent can sit with you, can understand your circumstances, and then strategize your property journey, right? Okay, to build a $2 million portfolio, you have to buy, for example, 400 500k properties in these areas, and that should be your pathway, right? And then we start securing those properties in different states, different areas. The only reason of the beauty of diversification is, for example, I have a Melbourne property which performed really well in last 2 years. Now the Melbourne market is not going that way, not performing that better than last couple of years. Now the Cairns market, regional Queensland market, or the Perth market is doing exceptionally well. So those properties are now growing, and I'm able to get the equity out of those properties to buy my next property, right? So a good buyer agent, definitely we have a checklist of more than 20-25 items. We tick each and every box before we buy any property. So that's another thing. Yeah. So buyer agent, if you really want to engage one, please reach out. I'm happy to help. Yeah. Next one I want to talk about is quantity surveyors, right? Once your property is settled before the financial year, like 30th of June, it is recommended to get your depreciation schedule written by a quantity surveyor. Those professions say that's one-off cost that costs you around $400-500, so somewhere around $700-800. They give you a depreciation schedule which you can use for next 15-20 years, or the life of the building, right? So I highly recommend getting it done, and that will help you save some tax money by end of the financial year every year. Yeah. So these were the key professions when your strategy is passive, just buy and hold. Sometimes you go for active strategy. For example, buying a land, subdividing. You might need a town planner for that, right? There can be a lot of other professions which you need to do your active strategy. You might need an architect for that, right? So for example, if you are doing renovations, right, you need a carpenter, you need maybe a painter or a plumber or your electricians. Yeah. So if you have a good property manager on the ground, it can also be able to renovate your house. If you are in a Melbourne, you can still do your renovations in a Perth, depending on how you are building your team around. Yeah. So these were kind of key professions, or how to start your journey. Basically, you can either go to a buyer agent first and build your strategy, and then go to mortgage brokers and all other professions, or either you can go to the mortgage broker first and find out, okay, how much borrowing capacity you have, and then you can plan accordingly, right? You can also get your financial advisor on board, and they basically look into your situation and see, okay, like what's your goals are and how you can achieve it, and what are the different channels available for you to achieve those goals. Yeah. If you like this video, please like the page, subscribe the channel, and please reach out if you need any sort of help. Happy investing. See you in the next video. Thank you.